If I were to draw a timeline of all of the Monkey Ball games, starting from the original arcade cabinet right the way up to the recently released Banana Blitz HD, what would it look like? Would it look like this? Well, of course not. What I've actually done here is draw a timeline of the Monkey Ball games that people care about. I didn't even bother to include the start and end points that I just mentioned. So as to not annoy Silverboxer, I should probably add in Junior, Touch and Roll and Banana Blitz, and so as to not annoy Gonquai, I should add in Step and Roll and Banana Splits too. So how about this? Is this the complete timeline? Still, not quite. The most outstanding game that's missing here is Super Monkey Ball Deluxe, which is probably the most well-received game in the series besides the first two. There's also that other Monkey Ball game for the GameCube, so unholy I daren't even mention it by name, as well as Super Monkey Ball Ticket Blitz, Super Monkey Ball 3D, and if you want to start getting obscure, there was the Monkey Ball game on the Nokia N-Gage, which I own 3 of for some reason. And to go even more obscure than that, we can include Ei-Ei-Banana Catch, a game which some lucky children and some weird grown men received with their Happy Meals back in 2003. So here we have it. The complete timeline is what I would say if I was lying to you. This is the complete Monkey Ball timeline, more than double the amount of games we just had. I imagine some of you can work out a few of the missing titles here, but I seriously doubt there's many people that could name all of them off the top of their head. And I'm not trying to be some sort of clever dick here and including any kind of demo disc or dual pack or some other Sega game that just so happens to have Ei-Ei as a character. None of that malarkey. These are all official Super Monkey Ball games released by Sega between 2001 and 2020. And these 15 games in particular are not only some of the most obscure installments in the series, but are the Super Monkey Ball games that in some way or another have been lost to time. This video is part 1 of what will be a 3-part series documenting these 15 lost Monkey Ball games. While some of the games I'll cover in this series are still considered to be lost media to this day, a few of them we actually rediscovered and archived after I started working on this video. So buckle up bucko and tighten your braces, because I'm about to squeeze out a hot dump of scoopage right before your very eyes. Let's kick off the series by taking a look at these 3 games, the first of which being Super Monkey Ball Mini. I remember first finding out about it a few years ago when looking through archives of the old Amusement Vision website. Thankfully, the Monkey Ball sections of these sites have been very well preserved, and you can find heaps of interesting things on here, such as this weird plot about Gongon raiding Jungle Island to monopolize bananas for gorillas, and Ei-Ei having a dream about some grand monkey that teaches him a magical spell. Is this the plot of the first game? Anyway, there's also things like downloadable Monkey Ball icons and cursors, and even instructions on how to make a banana milkshake. I could seriously spend hours digging through all this stuff, but for now, all that's important is this: an update on the homepage advertising Super Monkey Ball Mini on shockwave.com. If it's not already apparent from that, Super Monkey Ball Mini is a Flash game. In fact, all 3 of these games are Flash games, which is why I grouped them together for this video. Quick side note, I assume at this point most people are aware that Flash is dying at the end of the month, and may be curious as to if this will also spell the end for Flash gaming entirely. The short answer is no. Adobe is discontinuing development for Flash, and as a result most browsers will no longer support the platform. All this means is, you can't play Flash games in your browser anymore, and as long as you have a standalone Flash player downloaded and installed, you'll still be good to go well after New Year. It was presumably released in 2001 as a way of promoting the actual Super Monkey Ball. The unfortunate news is, shockwave.com, like the Amusement Vision website, is no longer up, and trying to navigate through the Shockwave archive is a living hell. A quick Google search for the game will likely lead you to its article on Lost Media Wiki, which is already not a good sign. Here it states the game was taken down in the mid-2000s and all that survived was a stub of the menu from where it was hosted on the Sega website. But the fortunate news is, the article is marked as found, because apparently a fella named Pico rediscovered it just over 3 years ago, and the full game in its entirety can still be played on the website Don Pixel. I also made sure to check it was on the game list for Flashpoint, a massive Flash game archival project, so we don't lose the game again once Flash dies, and thankfully it's already safe. So, let's take a look at Super Monkey Ball Mini.
Ready? Go!
Honestly, for a Flash game that was made 19 years ago, it's pretty bloody good, and it is effectively a miniaturized version of Super Monkey Ball's main game. Ei-Ei is the only playable character, and he's controlled using the mouse to tilt the stage up and down, left and right. The control was a fair bit awkward to get down at first, and I doubt my stupidly high mouse sensitivity helped, but after playing the game for a little while, it started to feel pretty comfy. There's 9 floors available to play, each of which are directly selectable from the main menu, so if you game over, you can easily get right back to where you ballsed up. None of them seem to show any clear resemblance to any of the floors in the GameCube game, besides floor 9, which is obviously an adaptation of AV logo. Interestingly enough, there's a banana counter that displays in the top left, despite none of the floors having any bananas to collect. The counter actually tracks the amount of time you have remaining when you beat a floor. So for example, if I beat floor 1 with 59 seconds remaining, 59 bananas will be added to my count. Getting 100 bananas doesn't give you an extra life or anything, so the only purpose of this counter is to track your high score. The weirdest thing that happened during my first playthrough was after beating the final floor, I got stuck on a loading screen. This seemed like a pretty unorthodox ending, even for a Flash game, so I had a peek at the Monkey Ball wiki to see if it said anything about this, and it just reinforced what the Lost Media article said, that the game was found in its entirety and there are 9 floors available to play. Even with that in mind, I had a pretty strong suspicion that this might not be true, and after having my mate Maximum decompile the game files, he quickly found code referencing floor10.swif, a file which was absent from the site's linked to on the Lost Media wiki. And then I noticed that this fella Platenga had already mentioned it on that exact page. The Flashpoint notes also stated this file was missing, as well as files for an end screen and ending music. So, how come this happened? How could someone have archived the entire game except for the last floor in the ending? Well, it's sort of an easy mistake to make. You see, if you want to download a Flash game, all that's required is to locate the game's SWIFT files and download them to your computer. While some games are entirely stored in a single file, others, such as Monkey Ball Mini, have multiple game files required to run the complete game. This is the same reason that on the archive of the Sega website, only the game menu is accessible, as the only file saved was monkeyball.swif, which is the game menu and nothing more. To be able to download the other necessary files, they must first be loaded in the game before they appear in the inspect element window, where they can then be downloaded. So presumably, whoever downloaded the game to host it on Don Pixel never loaded the files for floor 10, the end screen, or the music, and thus they were still missing. This was very frustrating to find out, but quickly I came to terms with the fact that the game would most likely remain incomplete for the rest of time. However, one day, after spending a few hours doing some races with Bahunga, we both grew curious as to what the 10th floor even looked like, so I decided it would be worth searching for at least a video or a screenshot that showcased the mysterious missing floor. Fairly early into my research, I stumbled upon this video by 𝐶𝐞𝐬𝐜, where he was looking through the old Monkey Ball websites himself, and one part in particular caught my attention. About 17 minutes in, he brought up an article from the Sega website titled "The Making of a Minigame, Mike Dobbins Brings Ei-Ei to Life." The article was an interview with this Mike Dobbins character, discussing his time developing Super Monkey Ball Mini. This was marvellous news for me, since I now had a name to look up. I'd tried finding this information much earlier by looking at the in-game credits, which had 13-4 listed as the only designer and programmer, and after reaching out to the only person that I know that goes by the username 13, I hit a bit of a dead end.
What the bloody hell?
13, which is really bloody important, mate.
Okay,
I've a question.
I'm listening.
What can you tell me about Super Monkey Ball Mini?
No whatsoever. As you Northerners say, no.
Oh, I've been shammed here then, Anna.
I think you are, yeah.
My first plan of action was to look up Mike Dobbins and see if I could find a way to contact him. Pretty quickly I found his LinkedIn profile, where in his contact info he had posted a link to his website, wondertrio.com/Mike. After heading to the site, I was still only in search of some way to contact the bloke, but it turned out that that wouldn't be necessary, as right there, under the Games tab, was Super Monkey Ball Mini. Flabbergasted at the thought that I'd already found the missing floor in about 20 minutes of searching, I opened the game eagerly, but in a matter of seconds, my balls dropped.
Where was floor 10? Surely there's no way that the game's developer had an incomplete version of his own game on his own site. Well, there was only one way to find out. I entered the 9th floor with my mind swinging as lowly as my sense of dread, and as quickly as my balls had dropped, they'd sprung right back up into place.
There she was, the forbidden floor, the floor that had eluded game hunters for over a decade. Now, I know I seem to be making a bit of a big deal about finding one missing floor in a 19-year-old Flash game, but with less than a month to go before Flash support ended for good, this fragment of Monkey Ball history was rescued from staying incomplete possibly for the rest of time. And not only that, but my discovery of this website inadvertently led to the Flashpoint community uncovering a handful of other Flash relics, such as this officially licensed Nintendo game which was never released. Having now truly found the game in its entirety, I was able to put the pieces together and make complete sense of why the final floor was even missing in the first place. There's no button to go directly to it. Whatever moron first grabbed the game to stick on Don Pixel will have clicked to enter each floor, downloaded the file, then exited and gone on to the next one. They never beat floor 9 to get to floor 10, and in turn never beat floor 10 to get to the end screen and music. So thanks to me, and thanks to 𝐶𝐞𝐬𝐜 for finding this one article on Sega's old website, Super Monkey Ball Mini has been saved. The final thing I want to mention before moving on is this sentence I noticed in the interview with Mike. Super Monkey Ball Mini was, for some, their first look at how the game is played, as it was posted on Sega.com several weeks before the title was released. So, Super Monkey Ball Mini was released before Super Monkey Ball was? At least before it was released in the US, I presume. This was quite an interesting finding and really caught me by surprise upon first glance, but given the purpose of Monkey Ball Mini, it makes complete sense. Moving on, we have Super Monkey Ball 2 Mini, supposedly released in 2002 to serve the same purpose as its Monkey Ball 1 counterpart. For some reason, this game doesn't seem to have a lost media article, but I don't see how it didn't also go missing when the sites that first hosted it shut down. This one was even embedded on the Amusement Vision website at some point, but again, only the menu was preserved. Thankfully, Don Pixel did their duty and rescued this game too, and this time we actually got the whole thing, and thank Christ we did, since it was developed by Adam Glazier, not Mike Dobbins, so I doubt that website I found would have been much use if bits were still missing. Super Monkey Ball 2 Mini is more like Super Monkey Ball 2 Minigames Mini, as this is just a Flash version of 3 of Monkey Ball 2's minigames, Monkey Target, Monkey Baseball and Monkey Bowling. The games are all alright. Monkey Target in particular was really slow and boring and easy. The most fun I had was seeing what happens if you fly out of bounds, since you're specifically warned not to do that. All it did was make Ei-Ei really grumpy before plunging him to his doom. I had the most fun with Monkey Baseball, perhaps because I've never actually played the proper Monkey Baseball minigame, so it was the most new to me. I also just like the idea of Ei-Ei knocking about with a massive baseball bat and cracking gong on one for sport. I think it's best to let my live recording convey my feelings about this one.
Hello everyone, this is Efo, and welcome to Let's Play
Monkey Baseball.
Righto, Monkey Baseball.
Start.
Go on son, let's have it. BANG! Oh, he's got no run! First try! Oh my god, I'm far too good at Monkey Ball, Jesus wept.
In summary, I don't know anything about baseball. Last time I tried to watch it I was told to leave for asking where the wicket-keeper was, and at first I thought that a strike was a good thing, but apparently that's only in bowling. The game boils down to hitting the spacebar at the right time, that's all there is to it. Bowling was okay, it's just bowling. Like with Monkey Target, I had more fun doing what you're not meant to do. That's about all I have to say about bowling. Overall, the first game's better. Moving swiftly on, the final game is Super Monkey Disco Ball. This was definitely the least well known and most poorly documented of the three, though it does still have an article on the Monkey Ball wiki, which is where I found out about the existence of it to begin with. This is the first game I'm going to cover in this series that was still completely lost when I started working on it. It was originally available to play on the Super Monkey Ball this website, and had since been taken down with it, and was yet to resurface in 2020. This time, we didn't even get a menu, just the measly title screen. I tried looking through all of the captures of the page on archive.org to see if any of them still had the actual game file, but I didn't have any luck. All I'm left with is a small paragraph on the wiki article describing what the gameplay was like, and from what I gather it was some sort of Monkey Ball themed Step Mania type game, and that's all I can really tell you about Super Monkey Disco Ball. Well, that's all I could tell you until the day after I found the Wonder Trio website, when I received this message. Hey dude, that's a word I never say, dude. Hey dude, just letting you know someone found Super Monkey Disco Ball. Think they're curating it for Flashpoint now, dude. Holy smokes, that's awesome, said me. Turns out, after I posted the website link, some of the Flashpoint big brains started crawling through the site's open directory, and in doing so unearthed the game.swift for Super Monkey Disco Ball, which can't be found on the games page of the site itself. There's also a much more well-preserved archive of the website buried in here, which was also built on Flash. And amongst the masses of celebration and accolades over this monumental discovery for the Monkey Ball history books, it was pointed out that apparently the game had already been found just 10 days prior by a user called, Gunter.
Ah! Aha! There you are! Gunter.
Gunter told me he found it in a big internet archive of hundreds of Swift files, and although some people said the game didn't load for them, it worked fine for me, and it's only fair to give the man the credit he deserves. But enough faffing, here is Super Monkey Disco Ball.
Go!
After playing the game for myself, I feel very bad for even daring to call it a Step Mania type game. It might appear like it, but this is not a rhythm game, and I fully understand why it was hidden away in the site directory and not proudly on show with the rest of the games on his site, though I'll explain why I'm saying that in a moment. The objective of the game is to hit the correct arrow key when the corresponding note passes through the circle at the top of the UI. Hitting notes will gradually progress Ei-Ei along the level at the bottom, and when he reaches the end, you move on to the next level. There's 3 in total, Jungle Island, Moonhaven and Zootopia, each of which increases the speed that the notes move along the top. The difficulty curve is really bloody stupid, going from being so easy you can play with your elbows to flat out impossible by level 3. On top of that, the notes aren't remotely in time with the music that plays, so I'm not sure why I'm calling them notes, because they're not. And this works against you if you have basically any experience playing a rhythm game, since instinctively you want to hit them in time. Occasionally a set of 3 notes, or arrows, will appear with an input combination that will cast one of 4 magical spells, and despite these seeming like they'd, do something, even having labels and images of what the effects of the spells are, they don't. Hitting them doesn't change the gameplay whatsoever. All they do, all of them, is double your score. And even if they did do something, it's not like you'd ever make a conscious decision to cast a particular spell. They just appear in the sequence and you try to hit them. The input combinations for the spells don't even match up with the ones used in the actual game. So there's nothing about this feature that justifies its existence. Correctly hitting an arrow will make Ei-Ei bust a move, while missing them or hitting the wrong key will cause your health bar to slowly drain. But does this matter? Nobody playing the game is paying attention to all this rubbish that's kicking off, since you actually have to concentrate on the arrow to hit it in time. This is effectively what it looks like while you're playing the game, so anything outside of this tiny window may as well just not be there in the first place, or put somewhere that you can actually pay attention to it. If you do manage to die, which you probably will do on level 3, you get to have a glance at the most repugnant abomination of Ei-Ei I've ever seen. Like, Jesus wept, what have they done to him? And this ugly sod isn't nearly the worst part of Disco Ball. What is how awfully the game plays in the later levels. Honestly, just go and play the game yourself and try to hit 2 consecutive notes on level 3, because I'm convinced it's not possible. And there's 2 main reasons for this. The first one being the window you appear to have to hit the arrow in time versus the window you actually have to hit the arrow in time. If the arrow's anywhere in the right half of the circle, you're good to go. You can even hit them when they're only about halfway in. But anywhere in the left half, no chance, mate. It doesn't even matter if the entire arrow is still inside the circle. If it's in the left half, it's in the gone zone, pal, you've missed it. So, sure, granted you could get used to this really janky hit window, but there's nothing you can do about the second problem. If Ei-Ei is currently in an animation, you can't hit another arrow until the animation ends. This is what makes level 3 so impossible, because the arrows move too quickly for the full animation to play out, so you never get a chance to hit the next one. Like, come on, this is so bad, and yet they still expect you to cast spells? I did eventually end up beating level 3 by just cheating and only attempting to hit every other arrow, because that's still enough to not even come anywhere close to dying. I was pretty saddened to see my score had been totally eclipsed by the user Undefined, who had filled the entire scoreboard with undefined scores, which I simply can't compete with. So there's Super Monkey Disco Ball. In hindsight, it might have been best for my own mental well-being for this game to have just stayed lost for as long as I live. So I hope you can now understand why it doesn't show up with the rest of the games on Mike Dobbins' website. Now, originally, this is where I was going to start bringing this video to a close. However, the Wonder Trio website truly turned out to be quite the goldmine. Earlier on in the video, some of the more keen-eyed viewers might have noticed this, Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz Mini. I'd never heard of this game before I found it on here, and I couldn't find anything about it on the Monkey Ball wiki, but given the website it's on, and the fact that Mike Dobbins and the Banana Blitz team are mentioned in the credits, I reckon it's safe to say this is another official Sega Flash game, and not only one that was lost, but from what I could find, or rather couldn't find, one that has already been completely forgotten. So I suppose I was lying to you earlier when I said that this was the complete timeline. As it turns out, Mike was also responsible for the entire Banana Blitz website, which is where the game looks to have been originally hosted. This time, Mike had strayed away from whatever the hell Disco Ball was and went back to creating a simplified version of the real release. Although Banana Blitz Mini is just mini-games again, I think in this instance it's more suitable given what the main game of Banana Blitz is like. The two available mini-games are Asteroid Crash and Fruit Basket, which are interesting choices given there were 50 to pick from this time round. I really wish we could have had a Flash version of Monkey Trombone. Both of them are pretty faithful to the original. In Asteroid Crash, you shoot asteroids to prevent them crashing into your ship, and avoid hitting bananas so they come barreling towards you to extract them of their points. I'm not sure if there's actually a programmed ending, but it gets pretty hard around level 6 and 7, and I always end up dying here. If anything, this might be better than the original, since you play with a mouse and not a Wii remote. As for Fruit Basket, it's fine. You use the leaf to bounce the fruit into the correct basket, and they gradually fall at higher speeds as you progress through the levels. Again, I always end up dying, so I'm not sure if there's a programmed ending. Banana Blitz Mini does have an email postcard that you could send, but it doesn't seem to work anymore, so the best I can show you is this low resolution image. I'm afraid there's not much else I can tell you about this one. They're pretty basic and mindless games that you can't really go wrong with. And that concludes our look at Super Monkey Ball's official Flash games. All of them truly are artifacts of their time, being made with the sole purpose of promoting Sega's console releases. This type of thing will likely never happen again, especially with Flash support ending at the end of the month. So even if they are just forgettable Flash games, they played a much more interesting role in the history of the Monkey Ball series than most people would first think. I can't help but wonder what would have happened to these games had I not started working on this video when I did. Would I have assumed it was hopeless to look for them after Flash support ended? Would someone else have eventually found Dobbins' website and grabbed the games from the open directory? Or would he have removed them entirely? Would they have stayed incomplete or completely lost forever? Well, there's no point wondering because we'll never know at this point and it's just wasting time to even think about it. They're here now, and this time, they're here to stay, I hope. In part 2 of the series, I'll be covering what are without a doubt the most obscure Monkey Ball games to have ever been released. I'd be very surprised if you've even heard of them, never mind played any of them, so I hope you look forward to that. Thanks for watching everyone, cheers.